Oh, hello, it is I, your boy Gomi, and we're back with some more coverage of UFC 292. We're going to be looking at the fifth fight on the card. Might get bumped up because Cody Garbrandt versus Mario Bautista is unfortunately off. So this is the actually fifth fight in the card. It's more likely to get bumped up or it might stay there. Regardless, we're going to be looking at, Marlon Chito Vera versus Pedro Munhoz. I don't like this fight as much as what it was initially supposed to be, because another fighter that pulled off this card, it was supposed to be Henry Cejudo versus Chito Vera. I like that fight a lot. I thought that was a banger of a fight. Pedro Munhoz, meh. I don't think that's as much of a banger of a fight, to be perfectly honest with you. Regardless, let's break down the tail of the tape. This is going to be a bantamweight fight between Chito Vera and Pedro Munhoz. Chito Vera is going to be 30 years of age. Not very old at all for how many fights he's had. He's going to have a record of 20 wins, 8 losses, 1 draw. He's going to have 8 knockouts, 8 submissions, 5'8" in terms of height, switch stance fighter, 70.5-inch reach disadvantage, a 0.61 takedown average, a 53.29% significant strike accuracy, -190 favorite. He has significant wins over Dominic Cruz, Rob Font, Frankie Edgar, and Sean O'Malley, the guy fighting in the main event. You know Chito Vera is probably punching air knowing that the guy he beat, the only person to have beat Sean O'Malley, and Sean O'Malley's fighting on the main card for the title, and he's fighting as the 5th fight on that card. You know that stings. Sitting across from him is going to be Pedro Munhoz, 36 years of age, 20 wins, 7 losses, 5 knockouts, 8 submissions, 5'6" in terms of height. Orthodox stance, 71.5-inch reach advantage, a 0.51 takedown average, a significant strike accuracy of 45.36%, and he's a plus 160 underdog. So he has significant wins over Chris Gutierrez, Cody Garbrandt, and Rob Font. Cody Garbrandt, the guy. Also, Cody Garbrandt, he beat Cody Garbrandt round 1, and Cody Garbrandt was fighting above him on this card. That's funny, man. That's really weird. So, Chito Vera. Chito Vera has always been a guy I've been pretty high on, a guy I've liked. I did say I felt he had a chance of beating Sandhagen, but Sandhagen implored the new D1 Wrestling, was able to beat Chito Vera on volume, which is also, I said, that more than likely could have happened as well, too. Chito Vera has a massive issue, he has a massive problem in his game, is that he's too slow, too sluggish. He takes way too long to get started. Think of like a Piotr Jan. He looks for those sniper shots, but he's perfectly content with giving rounds or even giving a fight. If he can't find that shot, like in his fight against Corey Sandhagen, where he never found that shot he needed to get the win, he let the fight slip. He absolutely let the fight go to a decision and lost it. Like, he threw a little bit more volume in the 5th round, but his coaches knew. They're telling. It's not like his coach was saying, "Oh, you're doing good, man. You're winning the rounds." No, they were just telling him straight up, like, "What are you doing? What are you doing? You're not fighting. You need to fight." That's a massive problem that honestly he has, and I feel it could absolutely be his downfall against a guy like Pedro Munhoz. Now, I will say, Chito Vera does hit hard. Chito Vera did fight high volume guys who really pushed the pace on him, like a Dominic Cruz and Rob Font. Both were 2 fighters who threw high amounts of volume, really stood and banged with Chito, and they threw the kitchen sink at him. Rob Font, I believe he's in the top 5 most amount of strikes thrown in a fight. He's up there, and he lost that fight. Because at the end of the day, Chito just hit harder and he was more accurate. He has accuracy and he has power, both on his side. And immense durability as well, too. Chito Vera, across his fights, has never been knocked down. The only people to have that same statistic over, I believe it's more than 10 fights, is Israel Adesanya, Max Holloway, and there's someone else I can't think of. But yeah, none of those guys have been knocked down. Chito Vera is the same way. He's not been knocked down. He's a tank. He's an absolute tank. But just, he can let rounds slip. Simple as that. He could let rounds slip, and he can be taken down. Pedro Munhoz, though, Pedro Munhoz is not taking him down, as you could clearly see from this right over here. Pedro Munhoz has attempted 7 takedowns across 27 fights. So don't worry about the takedown threat. But then again, Corey Sandhagen was the same, and Corey Sandhagen brought out that D1 wrestling. So who knows? Actually, Pedro Munhoz might do that, but that's an X factor. That's an X factor. As of right now, don't expect this fight to be going to the ground from either men. Expect it to be playing down the feet. Pedro Munhoz's main weapon is going to be leg kicks, which Chito Vera doesn't really do a good job of countering them, but he's never really had problems with them, and he's actually done really good with leg kicks himself. But Pedro Munhoz, that's going to be his main weapon. He's going to throw a lot of volume, throw a lot of leg kicks, put the pressure on Chito Vera. That's going to be his main way of winning. That's Pedro Munhoz's main way of winning, is putting that massive amount of pressure on Chito Vera to be able to eke out that decision. He's going to focus everything he has into kicking him, hurting him, and just scoring points. He's getting scoring points. He's trying to knock him out. It's just that Pedro Munhoz doesn't really have knockout power, to be honest with you. But I do think, though, Chito Vera is going to beat him up, though. I think when Chito Vera lands, he's going to land at a much harder and much more significant clip than Pedro Munhoz, which is why I'm going to be leading towards Chito Vera to get the W. But I'm worried. I'm worried about it because I don't like Chito's fighting style. I wouldn't say I don't like it, because it could be very exciting. It could be very good, and he's very talented. It's just he needs to throw more. He simply needs to throw more, but most of the time he just stops throwing, and he'll just let rounds go by, look for one big shot. He found it against Dominic Cruz. He found that beautiful kick with that dip and duck style that Dominic Cruz has. He found that kick, which was able to knock out Cruz. Font should have went down, but didn't, because he's a freaking tank and never been knocked out. But he dropped him so many times. I do think there's a very easy case where Chito Vera could flatline KO. No, not because Pedro Munhoz has never been knocked out either. I do think there's plenty of avenues where he could just drop him and do a lot of damage with a decision. I don't see Munhoz being finished. I see Chito Vera by decision. But then it becomes a really hard 50-50, because I could see Pedro Munhoz just beating him out on a decision with volume. I could see Chito Vera landing harder shots and winning with damage in a decision. Ultimately, I feel the best bet for his fight, over 1.5, easy money, and honestly, the fight to go distance but don't pick a fighter, I feel is your best option. I feel that's a really good option, a really good bet, just to bet the fight to go distance but don't pick a fighter, because Pedro Munhoz absolutely can outwork him. As of right now, though, I think Chito Vera is the winner. I'm going to be leaning towards Chito Vera. I like his striking better. I like his damage better. I like how hard he hits. But, yes, it's been your boy Gomi. Be sure to let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let me know what fight you're most excited for. I'm going to be honest with you, of the fights I broke down, the Zhang versus Lemos fight, I feel is going to be the best fight in the card. These other fights, I'm a little worried for. I'm a little worried for this card. I don't know how it's going to be, but I'm really hoping that it's one of those cards where you look at it on paper like, man, that doesn't look like it's going to be that good. I don't care that much for it. And it ends up being a banger. UFC 261 was like that. Let's hope this one is, because, man, 291 and 290 were so good. I don't want to go back to a stinker. I don't. But yes, this has been your boy Gomi. Bye-bye.